Alright guys, and welcome back to the channel. Can you see how happy I am? See this full smile, this brave face I'm putting on, because it's just been another nightmare of a game week. I'm struggling to find the positives. Someone please remind me why we were so excited to see the end of this international break and the return of FPL action. I am clutching at straws to figure out why. It's been a depressing week for a lot of managers, not only myself. 44 points scored, another captaincy fail. That's 3 out of the first 5 game weeks now where I've got the captaincy wrong. Most important decision of the week, as we all know, and it's just failed me every time. I'm using logic to try and make my decision, and I feel like I should be just going with my gut or just doing something random with my captaincy to try and make it work. It's probably the wrong way to play this game. Luck is part of the game, but the only thing that we have control of is fixtures, form, analysis, etc. It's just hard. It's hard to keep going, but I'm not going to cry. I'm going to try and stay positive. 2.1 million overall rank, 44 points scored. This game's still updating for Gameweek 5. I just watched the West Ham Aston Villa game, so I'm reckoning after auto subs, I'm going to be probably around 2.2 million overall rank, which is devastating. It's going to be difficult to recover from this. Hit the panic button maybe. Wild cards, I don't know. I've actually come to a conclusion I'm going to get to a little bit later. I'll talk you through why I'm going to employ a certain tactic for the next 2 or 3 game weeks. Let me know how your game weeks went. I want to be cheered up. I want to see some good scores in the comment section. I want to hear some positive, enlightening stories, some FPL success stories for Game Week 5. Did you have some transfers that worked out? Did you fail miserably with your captain like me? On the flip side, if you didn't perform well this game week, I also want to hear that, because that too will kind of cheer me up. I'm not the only one, I'm sure. I've been seeing on Twitter a lot of seasoned FPL managers that have not done well in the last few game weeks. I'm definitely a seasoned manager. I'm no expert though. That's for sure. Judging on this game week score of 44 points, I'll talk everyone through it. What I'll do is I'll go through my team, individuals in my team, how they performed. After that, I'm going to look at my watch list, which is going to be short and sweet because I didn't get to see that many games. I saw the Liverpool-Arsenal game, first fixture of the game week, and then I saw the game this just passed here on Monday night. So I didn't see many highlights. I will be adding and removing players from my watch list, and after that then I will look at the crazy prediction of the week. So every game week I try and ask you guys to come up with some sort of wacky prediction to come through, whatever it might be. This game week this is the only thing I got right, actually, to be honest. I said that the Marcus Rashford was going to score 10 plus points, 10 plus FPL points this game week. Okay, fair enough, he didn't. He got 9 points, but he scored a goal. And the reason why that is a crazy prediction is because he was the top transferred out player in game week 4. It just kind of sums up this season as a whole. It's random. Random things are happening, and obviously trends aren't really it's hard to predict when players are going to haul. It always is. But for some reason this year, nothing seems predictable. Evidently, Rashford nets 9 FPL points. He scored a penalty, and that's kind of part and parcel of what's going on so far this season. Anyway, let's just keep moving on to the team. Let's get stuck in and look at the team. 4.7 million game week rank, which was brutal. No hits taken. 44 points. I bet this average is going to be about 51, 52. So about 6-7 points below average. Big red arrow. Another big red arrow. Nick Pope in goals. 1-1 Brighton away. Okay, fair enough. He got 3 points. He got 1 save point. This is nice though. 6, 7, 8, 9. There's good fixtures on the horizon for Burnley. So, 4.6 million. You can never ask too much of a 4.6 million goalkeeper. Unfortunately, he just hasn't been on the right side of clean sheets so far, but that may change. No intentions of swapping him out for a transfer. I feel like it's a wasted transfer. With those fixtures ahead. Lucas Digne, how crappy is this? So he got a yellow card and he conceded a goal within 5 minutes of each other. I think the official FPL account tweeted that out. Digne owners devastated within 5 minutes of this Bournemouth game. 6.2 million. Obviously, he's a very, very attack-minded defender who will get attacking returns. But the clean sheets are bread and butter, and they've dried up since game week 2. Fixtures ahead look pretty good, so keeping my hopes up for Lucas Digne to return in the future. Van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Van Dijk is one of the most sold players so far. I know it's early days going into game week 6, but a lot of people are getting rid of him. Don't recommend it. Probably the best price point to get into this Liverpool defence because he's nailed, unlike Gomez and Matip. Trent Alexander-Arnold should have scored. Him and Andrew Robertson had great golden opportunities to score a goal in the Newcastle game. That is the one game that I did watch 90 minutes of. Trent Alexander-Arnold looks like the defender to own this season. 7.1 million, still relatively low ownership, so get in now when he's hot and hasn't exploded yet. No clean sheets. It's just one of those seasons so far where no defender has really elevated themselves into like a player to have, a must-have. But this guy's close enough to it. That's true actually. Game week 5 now, and there's never been a top scoring player that's been a defender in any game week, and I think it's coming. It's knocking on the door for this guy, because if he gets a clean sheet along with some attacking returns, then he is going to fly. Chelsea away next. Chelsea defensively are shattered, and just don't rely on them for any sort of clean sheets, but they do score goals. They put 4 away this weekend. Lundstrom then, again, you know, he got taken off early, 71 minutes, still got his 2 points. He's 4.3 million. He's a bargain. He's playing every game. These do not look good though. I will be looking to put John Lundstrom. As much as I love him, I'm going to have to put him on the bench for the next couple of weeks, I reckon. 2 points anyway, nothing there. So blank, 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 blank. A blankety blank of defence. 5 no scores, just got the appearance points. Sterling, Salah. What can I say? Salah, I was on Salah all week. He was my gut feeling for captaincy. And then I switched to Sterling for logical reasons. If any of you guys watched my video on Friday night, I explained thoroughly why I went with Sterling. I stand by the decision. The FPL gods disagreed. Salah was always a good option this week. He got his 9 points. Look, 3 out of the top 5 captain players, most popular captains this game week 5, failed for their owners. Failed to score. So I can't be too disappointed. The opportunity cost, as in the difference of points between me captaining Salah or captaining Sterling, I only lost out on 6 points. So not terrible. I shouldn't be too downbeat about that one. De Bruyne though, I feel so sorry for any Kevin De Bruyne captaincies out there. I really do apologise on behalf of Pep Guardiola for benching this guy, because he is the most informed player for Man City. And to add insult to injury, he got 33 minutes. He came on for 1 point, blocking anyone who had Sterling maybe as their Salah as their vice captain, or somebody else who might have scored well, even Timu Pukki. I don't know. It's just a hard one to swallow, a bitter pill to swallow. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you put the C on a Man City player, because anyone can be rotated, especially with the Champions League coming into play now. It's going to be more of a common occurrence. He'll be second guessing the lineups by Pep Guardiola. Mason Mount, he got a goal at the end. Tammy Abraham is absolutely clean enough for Chelsea. I feel like we've missed out a lot. He's got 7 goals this season so far, but Mount is taking along nicely. I think he's going to have a big week soon. Maybe not in game week 6 against Liverpool, but there's just a sea of green after that, so you have to keep faith with him. 6.52, great value there. Now, Sebastian Haller let me down today. I mean, it's not really his fault. He did put in a good display of hold-up play. Had a couple of attempts to just West Ham didn't really get going in the final third against Aston Villa. They had Masuaku sent off too. Harsh for anybody who transferred in Masuaku, because he did really perform well in game week 4 and would have kind of turned a few heads. Unfortunately, he got sent off and he's banned now for at least a game. Isn't it weird, right? Last week I talked about my watch list of game week 4 and my potential transfers, and I highlighted the weakest player in my team, and that player was Josh King. He ends up being my top scoring player for game week 5. I mean, how can you even predict these things? Crazy. Game week Game week 5, he was on the chopping block. I was reluctantly keeping him in because he's shoved onto the wing. He's not really advanced in terms of how Bournemouth play at the moment. He's more like a winger, a midfielder, not getting as many goal attempts as you'd want for a striker. But then he comes up with 2 assists. Everton bet 3-1, and Bournemouth assets, the likes of Wilson, Fraser, and Callum Wilson-Fraser and Josh King return in that game. They, if you recall my Game Week 1 team, you probably don't. I've kind of erased it from memory, but they were all on my Game Week 1 team, and I'm going to show you something soon that will make you all laugh. It's a tool that will make you all laugh. 9.4% owned. Josh King is my highest scoring player for the Game Week, and probably means I'm going to keep him. Montoya didn't play. I benched him anyway. I think he just missed out through a short illness, so I'm not too worried. I don't think he's going to be going anywhere for my team soon. Dundonker and Greenwood completed the bench. Obviously, Button's a non-playing player. Set and forget, non-playing goalkeeper. Let's look at the watch list quickly. So I'm just going to go into my transfers page and pull up my watch list. So you can add and remove this. You can set your own one up through your fantasy.premierleague.com profile. Fabian Schär is coming off. He's got a little bit of an injury, so I'm going to remove him. Masuaku, I'm going to have to take him off because he's suspended until October 28th. So he comes off fairly quickly, even though they got a clean sheet there, so he didn't even lose out too many points. I think he got 3 points, even though he got sent off. Robertson should be okay to play. He might miss the Champions League game midweek, but he should be fine, so leave him on the watch list. He got his first assist, first attacking return of the season too. Mane, wow, it's just this flip-flop between Mane and Salah. The points are just evenly spread out every couple of game weeks. You know, it's 11.6 million. Can you save a million and go Mane over Salah? I mean, I wouldn't argue with it, but just don't expect him to return every week. Likewise with Salah. Mount is already in my team. I don't know why he's still on the watch list. Going to take him off because I already own him. Cantwell, wow. Well, Cantwell and Pookie both combined for the first goal, and he's really just flying. I mean, he's got 2 goals and 2 assists in the first 5 game weeks. 4.9 million now. He's going to be 5 million in no time because of the value. And look at the fixtures for Norwich too. Look really good. Martial, he might come back from injury. You're going to leave him on the watch list for now. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to take anybody else off. I'm going to leave it all as is. Aubameyang, Abraham should be in my team right now. My God, 7.3 million. I've missed out on so many points with the likes of Pookie and Abraham. Anyway, let's go into the points scored for the game week, game by game. Nobody to add here to the watch list, to be honest. Williams put in a nice performance in his debut. Well, it's actually his second game he started because of the injury there at left back. But he scored against Liverpool. Jethro Williams scored a really good goal. I'm not going to add it to my watch list, though. I'm not interested there in a Newcastle defender, to be honest, especially one that's prone to rotation. I think that the Brighton-Burnley game, to be honest, Mopé maybe, I haven't seen it, so I can't really judge, but I may add Mopé back into the watch list. I know Trossard has a slight injury. He's out until the end of the next international break, so he might be an option at 6 million now if I need to replace a striker. United against Leicester. Daniel James was the most, I believe he was the most transferred in player last game week. He blanked for the first time, first time in the last 3 game weeks. So a little bit annoying there for anyone who brought him in. Still think it's tremendous value at 6.2 million. So wouldn't be too worried there. West Ham away next too. He'll get opportunities, so not too worried. No one added or removed from the watch list from the United-Leicester game. Again, Sheffield United Southampton. Gineppo scored again, so that's 2 goals now he's had. He's just not getting starts though. Maybe that'll change now and he's gathering fitness. I'm not going to add him to the watch list again because look at the price. He's 5.4 million. And a couple of tough fixtures in game week 7, game week 8, so I'm not really interested at the moment. Moving on to the Spurs Crystal Palace game. Son, unbelievable performance, 16 points. We knew it was coming. He's on the watch list for that reason. Aurier then too, so there's going to be a toss up between Aurier and Kyle Walker-Peters. Aurier really putting in performance there for his first start. 2 assists grabbed early. Very sorry for anyone who owns Van Aanholt too. So there's some tragedy stories this week, especially Van Aanholt. -2 points. He got an own goal. Conceded 4 goals, that's another -2, so that was devastating for anybody who owned him. And he's 5.6 million. Probably dropped to 5.5 now as people get rid out of frustration and whatnot. That's just the way it happens. Wow, Chelsea are scoring goals for fun and not a hat-trick for Abraham. Look at this now, run 3-2-2. So he scored 7 goals in the last 3 game weeks. That's unbelievable. He came off with an injury and got a yellow card. So this could have been 17 points as it was, or ended up 14. A huge haul again, 3 double-digit hauls in a row. Like, you'd be thinking now, he's captaincy material going at, maybe not game week 6, but game week 7 onwards, he's a captain. He's a viable captain option. Just like Raul Jimenez was last year in a lot of games. He was a steady scorer. But this guy has a higher ceiling of points, it seems. Seems to be getting the goals for Chelsea over anybody else. And he is keeping his starting place. A lot of questions over whether he'll be rotated with Giroud and Batshuayi. But it'll be interesting now. Again, the dynamic of the Champions League comes into play. So we'll see if he keeps his place consistently in the Premier League as opposed to the Champions League. We'll see. It's still early days to know, but I think he's a great option. Abraham is the player to own for Chelsea at the moment. Defenders are not really in the reckoning. Kurt Zouma, for instance, has had a nightmare. I don't even want to go into it. I think he has 1 point for the season, and that's it. Just one player, actually, I will point out. Saiss. I noticed he's 4.4 million, and he played out of position last week against Everton and scored. So he has 6 points there. He got an assist against Chelsea, but as he's classified as a defender, he lost 2 points because of the goals conceded. 5 goals conceded. Not going to add him to the watch list because somebody truly pointed out. One of my followers on Twitter told me that he only filled in there because Bowley was suspended and also that Ryan Bennett missed out. So he was defender in game week 5 and he played in midfield in game week 4. Too risky really to add to the watch list. I'll leave him off for now. Wolves have been terrible too, so leaving that one for the moment. Tomori then is one he's got his second start and he scored a great goal. Apparently, haven't seen it. 4.5 million. Let's add him. Let's add Fikayo Tomori and monitor him. I know there's no clean sheets coming, but there is good fixtures for Chelsea. They've been terrible defensively though, so let's just leave it at that. Norwich then. Bundia should be added at this point. They're scoring a lot of goals, Norwich, and Bundia is the assist king for this team. He's got 4 so far, well segregated to game week 1, 3, and game week 5. He got 2 against Man City. He's on set pieces and corners. He is the premium option at 6 million, but I'll add him in anyway. He's on the watch list now with Pukki and Cantwell as the Norwich City options, and it's because of the fixtures too. I mean, they get nice for them for the next 4 game weeks. Yeah, what a disappointment. I mean, if you're reliant on Man City players and Liverpool players every game week, if you have 2 or 3 of each, you really need them to win and win well, or at least keep some clean sheets, because devastating effect on overall rank, because you're captaining your Man City players. They're premium assets. They cost the most. They make the most sense to captain because they create the most chances, score the most goals, especially the attacking players. So if you are getting fails out of them because of them like losing games, it's hard to stomach. But that's the way it is. There's going to be a lot of shocks as the season progresses. We're still early, and there's a lot more to come. Callum Wilson, Ryan Fraser, and Josh King all scored very heavily for Bournemouth, combining to Rico got an assist. Would have been nice for anybody who still owns him, even though he was dropped for the last 3 game weeks. 4 million though, so we maybe have to kind of just stick him back in case he's back in the reckoning and put him on the watch list. Why not? There's nobody else I'm really interested in. Unfortunately, Moise Keane is not getting starts. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored as well, so maybe that means that he'll continue to start in the Premier League for Everton. I'm not interested in either at the moment. Watford against Arsenal. Arsenal have been conceding so many chances. They conceded the most, 96 shots in the first 5 game weeks apparently, which is the most out of any team in the top leagues in Europe. Crazy stat. Watford got a point out of them. Their new manager will be happy with that. Deulofeu was really impressive. He's a hot and cold player. He goes missing for long periods of time, but maybe we should add him to the watch list just in case he's coming into one of those hot streaks. He got an assist against Arsenal and put in a very good display too. 2 bonus points for him. Fixtures not good next game week, but onwards maybe he'll get some more joy and he'll get a bit of a bounce from the new manager. I don't know. We're going to want to put him on the watch list and monitor him. Nobody else really to look at. Aubameyang obviously flying, another 2 goals. That's his first double-digit haul of the season, and there's going to be some amazing fixtures for Arsenal. So Aubameyang's gonna come in on my wild card, I reckon. Whenever I hit the trigger on it, maybe around game week 8, 9, or 10, he'll be coming in for sure. 11 million at the moment. I'm sure he's gonna go up in price after his performance this week. And then the Villa West Ham game, which is one of 2 games that I watched the full 90 minutes for. How frustrating if you own Felipe Anderson. I just feel like he's got so much to give from a fantasy football perspective, and he just kind of fails to deliver every game week. Really did well last season in spurts, but lacks the consistency and can just go missing for long periods of time. Can't add him to watch. He's 6.9 million. I have Yarmolenko on there. I'm going to keep him on for the moment. He came off early, but that may had something to do with the sending off. Grealish then should have scored, to be honest. I watched him. He is on the watch list. I think he's a decent option at 6 million. Not as good as John McGinn though, and he's also on the watch. McGinn's probably the best, the standout player for Villa. He got a lot of shots away. Should have scored a couple of goals. Well, he didn't. He shouldn't have scored them, but he had really good opportunities anyway during the match and had plenty of shots. A couple of times he went through in goals too. So that concludes the watch list. There was not many adds or removes, to be honest, because I didn't get to see much of the games. Yeah, that's pretty much that. I want to point you towards a cool little tool that I found. So first of all, go into your points in your fantasy.premierleague.com and notice this little number here. Mine's a 4-digit number. Yours could be anything between 1 and 6 digits. That's your team ID, and you're going to need that for this next tool. I'll post a link in the description for this website. It's called gamechange.co.uk, and they have a what if machine, which pretty much gives you an idea of where you would be if you did not make any changes whatsoever to your game week 1 team. So you left it, the starting 11 the same, the bench the same, your captaincy and vice captaincy exactly the same, and it makes for grim reading. So I'm going to put in my team, which was 1375. It's going to pull you up. So 326 points would have been my game week 1 score had I not done anything to my team. If I'd left Salah as a captain for the first 5 game weeks, done nothing to my bench, made no sort of rotation to my vice captain or my starting lineup, I would have been sitting on 326 points. Is there lessons to be learned from this? Maybe so. So here it is summarized in a tweet. This is pretty much what I would have got. So this would be my official FPL current score if I didn't change my game week 1 team. 326, which equates to a 30k rank overall. I'm currently 266 points, 2 million overall rank. And this is the only conclusion that I can bring myself to muster up from this statistic. It may be worthwhile to experiment, to sit back and set Sterling as my captain and do nothing for a few game weeks. Or maybe Salah as my captain. Do absolutely nothing and see how it pans out. Fraser King and Callum Wilson, I was laughed at to have them in the first game week and game week 2. They crashed miserably, failed to return. Only person that showed any kind of half potential of being a good asset this year was Callum Wilson. As it turned out, they came good in game week 5. So maybe we should be all a little more patient. That's all I can say. Check out the tool yourself on the site that I published the URL in the description here. So click it and see what your points score would have been if you did nothing at all in game week 1. You can post it in the comment section. I'd love to see who would have had. Maybe you would have been leading FPL overall. Imagine that. Imagine the devastation. All the wasted hours of research and tinkering to know that your first game week team was perfect. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't bear thinking. We have to move on. I'm going to check out my team as it's currently set up for game week 6. The deadline is Friday. It's at 7 p.m. GMT, 1400 hours Eastern time here in Canada. Game week 6 is a Friday deadline, so be careful. Make sure you have everything set in stone early. I am going to... there's Champions League too, so very important to be aware of the Champions League games Tuesday and Wednesday, because it can have a huge effect on who you're going to go with for captaincy, what your transfer decisions are going to be made, because it could be injuries. And you have to look at this. So my whole midfield are playing in the Champions League midweek. Anything can happen. they're all likely starters too. Mason Mount, Kevin De Bruyne, Sterling, and Mo Salah. I also have Van Dijk, Alexander-Arnold competing midweek, and then everybody else is safe. So that cluster of 6 players are all in action. I'm not going to make any transfers next game week unless something happens to them. Southampton away for King is a juicy enough fixture, I'd have to say, because of the way Bournemouth are getting into their flow. It's such a change of attitude compared to what I thought about Josh King last week, as a good haul can do to you as a manager. Put confidence in your player and give the player themselves confidence to continue in that same vein. And he's on pens too. Haller has United at home, and I don't think that's even though I'm a Man United fan, I still don't think it's a hugely difficult fixture for any team at the moment, especially when United are travelling and are away from home. So I'm not too worried there. Watford at home on paper looks like the fixture this game week to get on. I have 2 City assets. I hope both of them start. I am probably going to leave Sterling captain. Lundstrom is going to come out for Montoya, and I'm going to leave it at that. Injury dependent, press conference news dependent. I don't know. It's been devastating. It's hard to know what to do now. When results just don't go your way, it's very difficult to kind of make decisions without doubting yourself. So maybe when you look at my what if score of 326 points from a game week 1 team, my idea is that I'll leave my team unchanged for the next 2 game weeks at least, and see what happens, because maybe patience is the new way to play FPL. I mean ultimate patience, not just patience in a player for 1 or 2 game weeks. Maybe 4 or 5 game weeks is what you need to give a player. Maybe that's been the secret all along and we just don't know it. But I'm going to just hold back on the trigger for any transfer this game week. Roll a free transfer into game week 2 if I can, all depending on the Champions League action midweek. And hopefully then we'll be able to tackle the next few game weeks and get some green arrows, because it's red. All my mini leagues are in red, and it's just been very difficult. Team value is the only thing that looks positive, because on paper I feel like my team is strong, but the results are what really make it, and the results haven't been great. So I'm going to have to just stay patient and have a bit of faith in my players and see what happens. Chelsea-Liverpool is the standout fixture on the Sunday, and I think everybody will be trying to, well, I don't know. Like Liverpool have been the best team of the season so far, and most people will have at least 2 assets. So I'm just going to have to roll with this one. It's not ideal having 2 defenders for Liverpool, especially when they play Chelsea, who are a team in goal scoring form. But yeah, leaving it at that. I'll see what happens in the Champions League. I'll post another video or something on the community page to update you guys on what my activity is. But to be honest, I'm probably going to do nothing, because everything I do is wrong. And if I captain Sterling this week, maybe you should all consider captaining somebody else, because it's not been working out for me so far. But look, that's the way it is. I'm still enjoying it. It's a recreational game. It's entertainment. I love it. But it's not a good patch for me at the moment, and I need some positive game weeks. I need some green arrows to come fast, or it'll just ruin my season before it's begun. That's it, folks. Hit me up in the comments if you have any questions or dilemmas yourselves, transfer ideas. I'll give my honest opinion and feedback on what you think and what I think you should do. Again, play your own game. That's the best way to play this FPL business that we're all so engrossed and addicted to. Take care, and I'll see you all soon for the 6 picks contest.